everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got an exciting one for you. I'm going to be talking about commanders that are surprisingly resilient. Let's jump into it. First up, we've got Zur the Enchanter, and I will remind you that I have done episodes on some of these commanders. I have done deck techs on some of these commanders. Check those episodes out, and also check out that card list link in the description below for the cards I'm talking about on this episode. But Zur is a special one. Zur is one that, well, you might not think is resilient at first, but my goodness, can it be very quickly. A 1/4 human wizard with flying for 4 mana in Esper. When it attacks, may search your life for an enchantment card with mana value 3 or less, put on the battlefield, then shuffle. Now, Zur is a very, very, very interesting commander where, again, it is a repeat tutor on a body that can do some amazing things. Now, of course, there are certain, enchantments that you can go get that are very powerful, but of course, there's ones that can make Zur incredibly resilient. So again, a 1/4 without any kind of, hexproof or indestructibility, yeah, it doesn't have that, but it can very easily get that and more. I mean, there are definitely enchantments out there that are auras that are like, hey, you're indestructible. And Zur's like, great, that's amazing. But also on top of that, of course, you can utilize things like Diplomatic Immunity. And you might not know this little trick with Zur, but Zur really can take advantage of this one. Diplomatic Immunity is an aura that costs 2 mana in blue, and it basically says the enchanted creature has Shroud. And also Diplomatic Immunity has Shroud, meaning that this cannot be targeted, and Zur cannot be targeted. That being said, you might think, well, that kind of shuts down the deck, though, right? Like, Zur then can't, get any more auras on. Not quite. Zur's attack trigger, again, which lets you just get one onto the battlefield, allows you to essentially get around targeting. So, you can get more auras with Zur's attack trigger and put them onto Zur still and get around this, while still protecting Zur and this at the same time. Also, cards like Vanishing are amazing as well. Enchant creature for a single blue mana, pay blue, enchant creature phases out. Being able to make Zur just phase out and go away and then come back with everything still attached is incredible. And of course, as I already mentioned, there are of course other, auras that also just grant like indestructibility and things like that too. So yeah, Zur the Enchanter, although it might not seem like it, can very quickly, very easily become an incredibly resilient commander that is very hard to stop. And even if it is stopped, well, there are plenty of ways to get all those auras back out of your graveyard, reattaching to Zur, and yeah, it can be an absolute nightmare for your opponents who try to stop. Alright, buckle up for this next one. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath is one that, well, kind of stops itself at first, but then becomes incredibly resilient. A 6/6 Elder Giant for 3 mana in Simic. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Oh no, I have to sacrifice it, oh darn. Yeah, not resilient at all right there. That being said, when this enters the battlefield or attacks you, gain 3 life, draw a card, and put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So a nice little ramp effect right there, on top of card advantage and life gain. And also it's got escape for green, blue, and exiling 5 other cards from your graveyard, meaning that you can keep casting this out of your graveyard for its escape cost. So basically this is a commander that can get around commander attacks in a way because, well, as long as you keep filling your graveyard, you can keep getting this back again and again and again. And of course, speaking of like commander attacks and things too, well, you're ignoring that, but you're also ramping while you're playing this commander and also attacking too. So this is one that you can keep getting back out again and again and again. And sometimes you're actually just sacrificing it to itself. You're like, oh yeah, by the way, enter the battlefield, sacrifice unless it escaped. Oh, let's shortcut that a little bit because you can respond to that ETB, sacrifice it with greater good. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to sacrifice creature's power, then discard 3 cards. So, yeah, being able to just go, okay, I draw 6, discard 3, I'm up 3 cards on that, plus the ETB from Uro, again, drawing me an additional card. So, again, basically, draw 7, get 1 land into play as well, discard 3. Yeah, you are up a lot of cards right then and there. And, of course, again, you are filling your graveyard with more and more cards for Uro to come back if you need to. Alter Dimension, of course, is another great one. 2 an artifact for 2. Sacrifice a creature. Target player puts a number of cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power from the top of their library into their graveyard. Be able to go, okay, I sacrifice Uro, mill myself 6. Yeah, again, mill yourself. So you can fill your own graveyard again with more fuel for Uro. So again, Uro is a commander that might not look resilient at first. Again, it's kind of the opposite of that. It's like, oh, it kind of takes itself out. Yes, it does, but again, while it is doing that, while you are getting the ETB, you are ramping, you are moving forward, and also on top of that, of course, there are ways to really take advantage of getting it back again and again and again, and of course, your opponents, well, really are going to have a hard time dealing with it permanently because it's going to keep just coming back again and again and again. All right, buckle up for this next one. One that is often forgotten but should not be, Lazav Dimir Mastermind. My goodness, this is a spicy commander and one that can be so incredibly resilient. A 3/3 shapeshifter with hexproof for 4 mana in Dimir. Whenever a creature card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, may have Lazav become a copy of that card, except its name is Lazav, and also it's legendary. Oh, and by the way, it still has hexproof. I think many people out there forget that it keeps that hexproof. Essentially, you are like, okay, whatever the best creature is that's hitting a graveyard, I am that now. And by the way, also, you can't target me. My opponents cannot target Lazav, which is absolutely incredible. And of course, again, if you happen to hit an opponent's creature that is, well, absolutely resilient itself, again, one that maybe has indestructible, let's just say, or protection from things, again, they do not. Wizards does not mix and match hexproof with many things at all, basically, ever. And getting that, essentially, on top of, again, indestructibility, your commander has got to be unstoppable. So, of course, cards like Maddening Cacophony can be absolutely incredible. If you kick this, every single opponent's going to mill half their library rounded up. Even if you don't, for just 2 mana, each opponent mills 8. You're bound to hit some amazing cards off that. But yeah, if you mill half libraries, you're basically just kind of tutoring out the best creature and saying, oh, by the way, now it has hexproof, and it's my commander, too. Or cards like Consuming Aberration, which are amazing, well, just in and of themselves. A star, power of types, each equal the number of cards in each of your opponent's graveyards. Yeah, that's incredible. This thing can hit incredibly hard. On top of that, whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards to the top of their library to reveal a land, and then they put them into their graveyard. So again, milling until they hit lands, that's going to be a lot. And again, every single time you cast a spell, you do this. So repeat milling effects. You're going to keep hitting better and better creatures. Yeah, again, Lazav Dimir Mastermind, I think, is often overlooked and forgotten. But again, it already has built-in hexproof and turns into a creature that still keeps that hexproof and can turn into a creature that potentially is even more resilient with indestructibility or protection or things like that. It's absolutely amazing. Check it out. Speaking of forgotten, okay, well, not forgotten as a commander, but forgotten as one of the abilities of this commander's Skittles, the Blight Dragon. Skittles is a 4/4 dragon skeleton with flying and infect for 5 mana in black. And again, infect is absolutely amazing in commander because, again, we double life totals, but we don't double poison. Poison just says, hey, you know what, it still takes 10 and you get taken out with this. So yeah, with this one being able to go, okay, all right, I've got a 4/4 flyer, it's evasive, I can come swing through and hit you. Great. Also, you can give it haste by paying a black mana. Oh, and by the way, pay black, regenerate it. Yeah, you might have forgotten about that. I might have forgotten about that. Everyone might have forgotten about that, but Skittles essentially, again, can protect itself. Now, it does cost mana to do so, but of course, you're in black, which kind of in a way is like the second best ramp color in a way. Not like ramp necessarily, but like there are a lot of ways to get an absurd amount of mana in black. I mean, you've got like bursting mana like Dark Rituals when you need them, of course, but also like Crypt Guest. Yeah, there are cards that just double up the amount of mana that your swamps give you. There are plenty of those effects. Whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add black to your mana pool. And also you can extort, which is quite nice too. But again, basically doubling up your lands, going, oh, okay, Skittles, just cost 1 swamp for me to tap now, essentially to regenerate you. Or just, only need so much mana because you just keep taking out opponents. So, Nightmare Lash, again. It's going to get +1/+1 for each swamp you control. Black-Blade Reforged cards like that as well can, of course, make Skittles hit incredibly hard, take players out in one shot. And obviously, the less opponents you have, the less you have to worry about regenerating Skittles. So, yeah, take your opponents out quickly, and then, yeah, utilize your double black mana, essentially, to take your opponents out with Skittles and keep it alive. So, yeah, a great commander, and one that, again, I think players forget. It has built-in, well, paid for, but built-in regeneration. Great resiliency there. Next, being scared, being frightened can sometimes be a great way to be resilient. Norin the Wary is one who isn't going to be running into, the fray. It's not going to be one to be like, all right, I'm ready for a fight. No, a fight breaks out and Norin's like, I'm out of here. Anything happens and Norin's out of there. A 2/1 human warrior for a single red mana. Whenever a player plays a spell or a creature attacks, Remove Norin the Wary from the game, return to the play under its owner's control at the end of the turn. Being able to go, okay, hey, you know what? Yeah, Hexproof is nice. Shroud is nice. But how about just literally anyone plays anything and I go away? Yeah, I go away until the end of the turn. I just go, yep, peace, I'm out of here, blinking until later. So again, any kind of a board wipe happens, yeah, I'm gone. So again, not even protection from just like, all right, targeted removal. Protection from basically everything when it comes to that. Being able to go, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm gone. I'm not coming back. Okay, I am coming back, but just to like peek. Oh, okay, that's something? Okay, no, I'm gone too. Anything attacks? No, I'm out as well. Yeah, this is one where, again, you are just dodging things left and right. It is really hard to take out Norin if you are an opponent of this. I mean, basically, you kind of have to hope for, like, a creature that has an ability or something that has an ability to take it out, essentially. Other than that, this is just going to be perpetually leaving and coming back again and again and again, all while doing amazing things like, oh, Genesis Chamber's in play. Hey, whenever a non-tone creature enters the battlefield, if it's untapped, that creature controller creates a 1/1 mere artifact creature token. Cool. Norin's just going to keep leaving and coming back, Basically, with each trip around the table, you're making, like, 4 tokens, so that's quite nice. Or, of course, on top of that, just, like, shock damage until your opponents can't stand it anymore. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player from Warstorm Surge. So, again, Norin leaves, because that opponent casts a spell, comes back, like, oh, yeah, shock that. Damage doublers, damage triplers, of course, can work great. But, yeah, Norin the Wary, I mean, if you are, like, utilizing, like, your own, like, instance as well to protect it, too. Again, if an opponent happens to have, okay, like, oh, yeah, a creature with the ability to take Norin out, you're like, no. Cast any kind of an instant, like a cantrip instant, like Expedite maybe, sure. Alright, cool. Blink Norin. Okay, goodbye. Yeah, every spell is a blink spell. Norin is super hard to deal with, super resilient, it's super amazing, such a fun deck. Pick it up. Time to shift gears, though, to Tyvar the Pummeler. One that is not looking to leave the fray, but to jump right into the fray, and can definitely do so. A 3/3 elf warrior for 3 mana in green. Tap another untapped creature you control. Tyvar the Pummeler gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. Now, you might forget that this has this effect, where it is kind of like an Azuri, essentially, but one that can protect itself, versus Azuri protects, like, the other elves. Again, can regenerate other elves. This one's like, no. I'm sticking around. All right. Just tap other creatures, and I can stick around. Oh, by the way, pay 5 mana in green, and creatures you control at +X until end of turn or X the grace power from creature you control. That can be game-ending and absolutely amazing. But yeah, being able to just pump all your creatures, that can be absolutely huge. Obviously protecting from even things like, oh, I don't like Blasphemous Act. You could probably get around that, really. Damage-based board wipes. That being said, of course, just being able to go, okay, I tap a creature, all of a sudden this gets indestructible. And of course, you're in a great color for, well, tokens. Like an Avenger of Zendikar can just give you an unlimited supply of tappers, basically. 5/5 elemental for 7 mana. ETBs make a 0/1 plant token creature for each land you control. Got landfall, whatever land comes into play, basically get a bunch of counters on all your plants. Cool, good for you. That being said, again, the unlimited supply, basically, of, oh, okay, Tyvar, you're fine on this turn, you're fine on the next turn, you're fine on the next turn, and the next turn if you need it, okay? Just if you need it. Or if you want to get really sneaky, things like Stoneseed Hierophant can be great, too. A 1/1 human druid for 4 mana. Whenever a land comes into play under your control, untap it, tap, untap target land. If you've got, you know, something like, you know, Evolving Wilds, you can kind of save that for when you need it, essentially, to untap this again. So if on an opponent's turn, you're like, okay, oh, you played a removal spell? Okay, I will, tap Stoneseed Hierophant, protects my commander by giving it indestructibility. All right, cool, I'll crack my Evolving Wilds, I will untap this, and I can tap it again next time when I need to. So there you go. You can do some really weird things with things like that, some untappers. Yeah, Tyvar the Pummeler, again, literally just throwing a bunch of tokens into play is essentially a way to protect Tyvar, and of course, a good way to end the game as well. So it's kind of a good loop of things that work together again, where it's protecting it while also going into a game-ending mode. Quite a cool commander, and one that opponents might forget about just how potent it can be and how resilient it can be. Let's take a look at this next one, though, with Karador, Ghost Chieftain, an oldie but a goodie, a 3/4 Centaur Spirit for 8 mana. You might think, oh my gosh, 8 mana is so much, but it's got cost reduction. It's going to cost 1 less cast for each creature card in your graveyard, and once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard. Now, Karador can't help you cast itself out of your graveyard, unfortunately. I guess unless you somehow get a clone version of it, and then it hits the graveyard, and then you can do it, but no, you're not going to be doing that. Anyways, what you're going to be doing, though, is getting more and more creatures into your graveyard, and by doing that, you're reducing that cost down to nothing, including when commander tax is going to be applied, because, yeah, cost reduction can affect commander tax as well. And of course, getting 5 creatures in your graveyard is absolutely no big deal at all. Getting 7, not a big deal either. 9, I'm saying that because Commander Tech, you have the +2 each time. Not a big deal. You can get so many cards in your graveyard, it's going to make this always basically cost 3 mana for you, which makes it incredibly resilient because if it ever gets taken out, you just get it back out. Again, and again, and again. And of course, creatures out of your graveyard too, there might be some that can actually be ramped maybe with ETBs, things like that, so they can pay for even more. So yeah, basically, you're just going positive when it comes to mana sometimes when really using and abusing this effect. Now, with this one too, again, when it comes to actually getting things in your graveyard, Peer into the Abyss, a very simple and easy way. You don't have to go all creatures with the commander, you definitely can, but like this is a card where you might want to consider it. Source for 7 mana, target player draws half of their library basically, it loses half their life round up each time. Yeah, that's going to be well worth it. You draw half your library, that's like 45 cards potentially, depending on when you cast this. Probably not 45, but like 40 plus. Being able to go, okay, cool, I draw half my library. Awesome, I got all these cards. Yeah. Oh, discard phase? Okay, I discard, like 38 cards. Sweet. All right, yeah, you've got an absurd amount of cards in your graveyard, including a bunch of creatures. Basically, your commander is going to be just, yeah, commander tax-free for the rest of the game. Lovely. On top of you getting the best cards that you have in your library in your hand that you need. Or Mesmeric Orb, again, like repeat mill effects. This one's quite expensive, but there are budget-friendly ways to mill yourself, of course, as well. I just want to point out kind of an extreme version. Whenever a permanent comes untapped, that permanent's controller puts the top card of the library in their graveyard. They mill, basically. And so with this, again, just like throughout the game, just like, okay, I tap my lands. All right, I untap the next turn. All right, I mill a lot. I keep milling a lot. I keep milling more and more and more. Yeah, Karador Ghost Chieftain can be one where, again, it doesn't have any kind of built-in, like, indestructibility or hexproof, but if it's dealt with, you can actually just keep replaying it, kind of like Uro, but out of the graveyard, and this one's out of the, well, command zone again and again and again, because of that amazing cost reduction, and of course, the amazing extra value you're getting out of playing things out of your graveyard, too. And finally, one other example I want to bring up, because it is an uncommon commander, and again, well, actually, I think this one originally started off at rare, but I think players see it as an uncommon one these days. Regardless, it is another one where players just maybe just don't realize exactly how hard Yahenni is to deal with, because Yahenni is so hard to deal with. A 2/2 Aetherborn Vampire with haste for 3 mana in black. Whenever a creature opponent controls dies, put a counter on Yahenni. Sacrifice another creature, Yahenni gains indestructible until end of turn. Again, you might think that's a pretty high cost to sacrifice something, but no, not really. Yeah, you've got plenty of ways to actually build into this. Of course, just like, oh yeah, a bunch of, again, tokens. Like, you know, I talked about Tyvar, the Avenger of Zendikar. There are ways to make a bunch of tokens at once in black, too. That being said, there are just, like, repeat effects like Ophiomancer. Beginning of each upkeep. Again, each upkeep, not just your own. If you control no snakes, make a 1/1 snake. Cool. With that touch. Awesome. Good for you. That being said, again, literally just going, okay, next turn. All right, I make a snake. I sacrifice it. All right, Yahenni's indestructible this turn. Cool. All right, next turn. Make a snake. Sacrifice it. Yeah, he's indestructible. Good for me. Or how about like a reassembling skeleton? Again, pay 2, bring it back from your graveyard to the battlefield, tap, sacrifice it, and then all of a sudden, yeah, he's indestructible. Basically a free, like, hey, pay 2 mana, make it indestructible. Somewhat like Skittles in regeneration for that 2 mana, but again, this one is like very hard to stop because it's repeatable and out of your graveyard with reassembling skeleton. Yeah, Yahenni is one that can become a one-shot KO, again, with a single board wipe sometimes too. But also one that can be incredibly hard to deal with because you can just keep getting more and more and more things to sacrifice to keep Yahenni around while it's getting absolutely massive and taking your opponents out. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. As always, comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.